fellas. I just got back from the Hamptons Film Festival, where I saw the U.S. premiere of Terry Gilliam's new film, The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. And here is my review. One of the difficult things about being a flagrant Terry Gilliam fan is that you have to wait a lot, generally for years. I recall being bitterly upset at the opening of The Fisher King. Initially, I was just sad to have disliked the film so strongly after the mystical epiphanies I got to feel watching The Adventures of Baron Munchausen and Brazil before that, all the way back to Jabberwocky even. However, having felt robbed and betrayed by the underlying themes of The Fisher King, I was twice as devastated to allow myself to consider the time that would pass before I might get another fix of Gilliam ecstasy. Many interesting cinematic experiences were to follow, most notably the screening of 12 Monkeys at the Museum of Film, where I got to shake the man's hand in person. I must confess that my pet theory, though, was that Gilliam's best films were the ones he had co-authored with Charles McCune, who also played glorious character roles, like his appearance as smug and smarmy office mate Harvey Lime in Brazil. So when I first heard that McCune was collaborating with Gilliam at last on The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, I was beside myself. I began to check IMDb on a regular basis, and generally beat the web like a carpet looking for details on the film's progress. And it was significant to see how the world focused on Heath Ledger's work in The Dark Knight immediately after his tragic death, when, as a Gilliam fan, I was more aware of the similarity to the other undeserved disasters that bashed into the productions of some of his earlier films, too much like the injuries and incidents that stopped his version of Don Quixote in its tracks, as seen in detail in Lost in La Mancha. Although it appears he is still planning to finish that film, we shall see. Even with the biggest stars in Hollywood leaping to the aid of this production, it was hard to imagine the film could survive such a bombshell. The Imaginarium was slated to be shown first in America at the Hamptons Film Festival, so I prepared immediately to attend. I spent a ridiculous amount of futile time attempting to keep my expectations low. I rented a car and drove out to Long Island with the excitement of a kid driving himself to Disney World. And Gilliam is the Disney magic for adults when he's at his best. His unimaginable imaginings manage to contain a story that quickly rises to mythic proportions and generally has a solid manipulation of the symbols involved that carry a counterculture message in a cohesive way that makes my heart reel. His style, for me, combines the flourish and thrills of Spielberg's epics, but with humor and frame-breaking elements in place of sentimentality and oversimplification. A perfect balance of the American spectacle and the European sense of imagination. But my drive back from the Hamptons was not nearly as giddy as the way out that afternoon. I was back to my post-Fisher King morning. It was exciting to see the film revealed to the American audiences, and the producer, Gilliam's daughter Amy, was there to present it. I wanted to like it, I really did. After all, that would validate my theory that his best work would always be in conjunction with Charles McCune. Amy Gilliam, in her introductory speech at the premiere, referred to the 3 years of emotions and roller coasters and experiences, referencing both Heath Ledger's death as well as her producing partner William Vince. She praised Jude Law, Johnny Depp, and Colin Farrell for jumping to the film's rescue, and her father for his ability to keep the production together and find a solution in just 3 weeks. I could not complain about the beauty of the visual design, of course, and to say of course is a substitute for the point that Gilliam's work in cinema is always so astounding from a visual point of view that we are able to take that for granted if we choose to. I am sure he is aware that he has set his own bar impossibly high by making such consistently gorgeous work throughout his career. Complaints are usually aimed at the lack of richness in the characters of his scripts. And this film may be said to suffer from that. The characters are very archetypal and so do not have many facets as far as we are shown. But my issue is with the message contained in his symbolism. In Brazil, he presents a situation where his hero can only succeed over an ugly reality in his imagination. In The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, he creates a hero whose imagination can save reality from its ugliness. I objected to what I felt was a cynical message underlying The Fisher King, in which the hero learns to ignore his imagination after it makes his life too difficult. But the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus seemed to lack any cohesive message in its heavy and gorgeous symbolism. What can we say about the relationship of the hero he presents and the world of imagination that the magical doctor provides to him? What are we to make of his relationship with a clearly underaged and over-sexualized young woman? How does the devil fit into this universe presented in this film? As delicious as it was to watch Tom Waits being a stylish and creepy Satan, he did not seem to have a clear place in the mythology of the story being told. Not in the same clever way that David Warner's devil ripped through the scenery of Time Bandits, only to be revealed as a creation of the kindly eccentric god Ralph Richardson. I enjoyed Christopher Plummer's screen time, as I usually do, but it did not thrill me in the way that John Neville did as Baron Munchausen, which I attribute to the lack of clarity in the themes of the script. But back to the beauty. It is very significantly Gilliam's first exploration into the digital world after his strong upbringing in cell animation and model building. It does look like this liberated him and allowed his hand to roam more freely as he created the universe inside the Imaginarium. I can really see where he can climb to a new level with this new tool. And so, the waiting begins again. Ho-hum! Such is the life of a devoted Gilliam fan. From the Hamptons, the U.S. premiere of Terry Gilliam's new film, The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus.